that doesn't mean that Texas isn't good, because they are. But I think you're better than them, and you're at home. Whereas your next home game in that sketch is at Alabama. Well, Alabama is obviously better than Texas, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yes, this is the game where you have the most elements, the most indicators going your way, and yet it's not a, quote, I'm going to use slam dunk win by any means. I do think A&M's a better basketball team.
I think A&M is better. I think obviously they're older, they're more experienced, they've played more basketball together.
Right.
And I think over the course of an SEC slate that looks like it does right now, those are going to be key elements to just navigating the waters of this league. I've said it, I've hosted a few times in the last week or so. Right now, the SEC basketball schedule looks like a baseball one to me.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get beat. You're going to lose games.
You're swimming through shark-infested waters.
Yes, and you're going to have even good nights you can lose basketball games in this league. So it's not about, as long as you don't go on one of these prolonged runs of 4 or 5 games where you don't play well. Like, it's okay to lose, come back the next day, the next time, and try to right the ship immediately and get back in the win column, because 9-9 against the league this year is going to get you a 4 or 5 seed.
Maybe so. I mean, I think a 10-8 definitely does.
Yeah.
11-7 may be a 3 seed for what A&M's already done. So it's going to be a grind. You want to get off to a fast start, especially at home and especially against Texas. So again, at home, like you just said, you're more experienced. I think you're better. You've as well as Texas has played, I think you've played an even stronger schedule to get to the same record. All those things are true.
I looked at Texas's schedule yesterday, and so obviously, A&M had.
They both played Ohio State. A&M beat Ohio State. They both played East Texas.
East Texas A&M.
Yeah.
You're still getting used to having this.
From Commerce, where your neon guy is.
You've got to start off with a win here, and you've got to put yourself in a position to be successful through SEC play. And A&M at, what are we right now, 13, and that might be low considering how we played. If you're A&M, you can't lose to a schedule like Texas has put together. For more reasons than just that, it's really important that you just start here with the W.
And how do you anticipate this one playing out?
I think A&M wins this game. I think you shut down Trey Johnson, or Kaluma or Pope. Texas has, a handful of guys who can go get a basket. What A&M does really well is they put their energy into that one guy. Right. So they really do a good job of finding that faucet who drips and turning it off. Right. So what, in my opinion, you'll see a focus on a few of their of Texas's players. You'll do a really good job on the glass. You'll get some runouts early, get to the line. I think Wade Taylor has a big game because you focus on Wade Taylor getting off early and putting him in a position to be successful. And honestly, Ronnie, the way that things have played out over the course of the last couple games with different guys having to step up because of injuries or guys taking a rest, whatever it is, that's a really great thing going into this game. And so I think A&M wins this game. I think it launches them into SEC play, into, what you mentioned is a gauntlet of SEC play. And quite frankly, I think Texas is probably one of the bottom teams in the SEC. But they're still going to beat some teams. So, you've got to come to play. You got to win your home games in the SEC. I really hope Reed Arena can be packed for this game. I think that's an important thing for this Aggie team to have is a home court advantage when you're talking about games that are going to be decided by so few points.
Yesterday's news, Texas A&M adds another commitment via the transfer portal from Tyler Onyedim out of Iowa State, a Richmond Foster High School product. He will reunite with his high school teammate Ruben Fothery and come to College Station for his final year of eligibility. Jason, a position in need. A&M had to go get some big bodies on the interior. Not only did they get a big body, they got a big productive body in Tyler Onyedim.
Yeah, 4-year contributor. He was honorable mention All Big 12 in 2023, which was his most productive season in Ames. But 33 tackles in 24, 90 career tackles in his 4 years, and he's a guy that's worked up and down the line, brings a lot of size. Everybody's been wondering where are we going to get some help outside of these edge guys. We need some bigger bodies, and 6'4", 295, I think, answers that call. He's a guy from Texas, bringing him back, like you said, from the Houston area, and this is one that A&M. Again, we say this a lot, and I'm not just saying it because the portal action happens really quickly, but when he jumped into the transfer portal, A&M was immediately associated with him, and the Aggies were able to secure his services over some really big competition in the likes of Texas and Notre Dame.
Yeah, and both of those guys are both of those teams came hard after Tyler. Based off all the conversations I'd had with his former high school head coach, who was kind of doing a good job with keeping us in the loop of Tyler's next move. He stayed close to Tyler after he had gone up to Ames. But that was a position that A&M had to go find at least one. I think they probably need another one, Jason, although, and this is a good segue into just the entire defensive line group now. When you lose Scorton, Stewart, and Turner, you got to replace them. And, they went out in the portal, and they got Dayon Hayes. They got T.J. Searcy, Salmon Pemba, now Onyedim. But with what we've seen out of this high school incoming group of the class of 25, there's enough there. I'm convinced now that there's enough there that somebody, one of them, can break into this rotation and provide you with some depth if you need it. Big one tomorrow night. We had Logan Lee on yesterday, talked to John Pugliese today, just kind of about the ins and outs of the matchup. And both of them are really kind of bullish on A&M's chances of how this A&M team, matches up with a Texas team that is talented, but they are young and they haven't played a soul. UConn.
And they lost them both. Ohio State.
Yeah.
Who, it's been a little up and down, but Ohio State beat Texas handily. That feels like a lifetime ago. They beat Kentucky. I think they beat Kentucky handily. Ohio State did. That's kind of all they've played, right? Ohio State and UConn. And UConn wasn't playing good ball at that time themselves. But look, I think we know Texas can beat A&M, especially with Johnson being as special as he is. But I think Texas A&M is a better basketball team. I think they've been so far. It's not debatable. I think they will be throughout the course of this season. I think this is the benefit of what Buzz Williams has built. A veteran basketball team, and now they are a product of their schedule. He really challenged this team with this schedule this year. So
he should be commended for that, because remember a couple of years ago when they didn't get in, he
fixed it.
Yeah, he said he was going to, and he did.
And I think for a while there, he's wondering if he overdid it. So last year, he was wondering if he overdid it, but he did it again, and he did it with a veteran basketball team. They didn't have to have this 11-2 record, and they still would have been all right playing that schedule. But like he's talked about a lot with me, like there's some nerves there that you can lose too much and kind of almost like stunt the growth of your team.
Or stagger the confidence.
But and that's what I mean, stunt the growth through confidence.
Yeah.
But, and then all of a sudden they're feeling pressure because the record says one thing. But it worked because I think, he's so unorthodox and he's so big on the mental game that I think when you do that with a veteran basketball team that's been through it and understand, like this is like the perfect storm of a Buzz Williams basketball team.